What's happening, guys? Good morning. Good morning to you. It is Thursday, January 14th, 2021. We're 2 weeks in. This morning, we're going to talk about 5 daily habits that will keep you wealthy. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right. What's happening, guys? Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Happy to be here with you guys this morning. This morning, we are going to talk about 5 daily habits that will keep you wealthy. Not the traditional definition or the first thing that comes to your mind when you talk about wealthy. That, I believe, is a secondary reaction to the list of things that we're going to talk about this morning. We're going to talk about these 5 daily habits. These are things that are just critical parts of everything that I do every day. And it's funny how these things are not necessarily directly connected to the actions that would create wealth and fulfillment. But man, how powerful they are when you implement them and you have them in your life with consistency. Just the way that you feel every day is it's almost unexplainable. You know, I was just talking to my wife this morning before I came downstairs, and I literally just said to her, like, man, my life is so exactly the way that I wanted it to be. It's almost overwhelming at times, you know. It's and it doesn't mean that there aren't issues and challenges in my life, that I don't face the same exact things that you guys do. But I start every morning with gratitude, and sometimes that gratitude is genuinely so overwhelming that I am just so grateful for everything that I have in my life, including those of you that tune in here every morning. You know, this is just an incredible way that I get to start my morning, you know, before I head into the office, or sometimes I do this from the office. We're getting ready to switch some of this stuff over so that I can broadcast live from the office instead of here, because that's an easier way for me to get some rhythm in my morning. But man, it's incredible when you do these things consistently over a period of time, how your life starts to get into focus exactly the way that you wanted it to, right? And so, you know, living with intention, having a plan, writing things down, spending that quiet time that I always talk about, those are really important things that lead to just an incredible amount of fulfillment in your life and wealth from the standpoint of just how you feel, right? That fulfillment in the way that you wake up every day, just genuinely loving your life. It is such a gift. And so I hope that all of you experience that on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't experience that on a day-to-day basis, hopefully this list that I'm about to go over this morning will help you get there and feel more full. And the longer that you do it, the more that fulfillment, that feeling of fulfillment is going to be there automatic when you wake up every single morning. So want to say good morning to some folks. Carla, good morning to you. Don Sankey, good morning to you. Cindy, Tammy Clark here as always. Thank you for being here. Jared Lewis, good morning to you, brother. Christina, Randy, Jeff Johnson, my man, good morning to you, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. And Mark Farelli and Brandon, good morning to you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Ryan Austin, good morning to you, man. Ryan Austin's on fire, man. He is active all over the place. He's getting poured into. He's got stuff going on all over the place. Proud of you, man. Keep going. And Mr. Callaway, good morning to you, and I can't wait to see you this weekend. See you guys on Sunday. So with that said, the 5 daily habits that will keep you wealthy. And again, I want to remind you, I am not talking about monetary wealth. That this is wealth from the standpoint of fulfillment in every aspect of your life, just feeling incredibly full. I will tell you that financial gains come along with the results of feeling that way. But for the purpose of what we're talking about here, I just want to be clear that, you know, the definition of wealth for you should be the same as it is for me. And that is, man, just having fulfillment. You know, money is a piece of that, but it is not everything. So here you go. The 5 daily habits that will keep you wealthy. Number 1, wake up early. Man, if you don't beat the sun up, if you are not up before everybody else, if you are not gaining ground on the world first thing in the morning, those days that you sleep in will catch up with you, right? So for me, that habit of getting up early, I continue to push myself to try and get up earlier and earlier, because that time that I spend in the morning is just so beneficial. It allows me to spend time, that quiet time that we all need so much. And it allows me to be productive with no distractions. You know, nobody's calling me at 4:30 a.m. To have a conversation or ask a question. Nobody has the ability to book a Zoom call with me at 4:30 a.m. So that helps. But waking up early is one of those habits that is so critical to your success and to creating that rhythm in your life that really makes things work. So that's number 1. Number 2, man, love your spouse. If you are married, love your spouse with everything you got. And it will not just make your spouse feel much better, but it will make your own life much better. You know, we talk about giving, and we talk about that feeling of doing for others and serving others. That starts with loving your spouse and loving your family, right? And doing everything that you can to make that environment that you exist in the very best that you can. You know, sharing the things that you love about your spouse with them. I do it every night and every morning. I tell my wife how grateful I am, how beautiful she is, how much I appreciate the life that she has built for us, our family. Man, it is just unbelievable to have that feeling of fulfillment in your home, right? And so when you get that feeling of fulfillment and you're loving your spouse and your family, man, it is, you feel unstoppable, right? And by giving to them, by pouring into them, that feeling uplifts you as well. So love your spouse and love your family is number 2, right? All right. So number 3, being a family man, so that your family is always there for you. Because, you know, there's a lot of times that, you know, you are out sacrificing for the betterment of your family. When you are out sacrificing, building the life that you want to have for your family, you have to make sure that you are there for your family so that they can be there for you. And so being a family person, a family oriented person, God first, then family, it couldn't be more important. And when you keep those priorities straight, why you do what you do is always very clear to you, right? It's always top of mind and it's always there. So being a family person so that they can be there, they will always be there for you. They see what you do for them and they will always be there for you. And they understand a little bit more when you have to sacrifice a little bit of time with them to go build the life that you actually want them to have and that you want to have yourself. So be there for your family, be a family person, be a family man, a family woman, and that will pay you huge dividends, and it will keep everything in perfect focus as to why you're doing what you're doing. You will never lose that motivation, tying those things that you want to accomplish in your life to that emotional trigger that makes things line up properly is so important to keep your life full and to keep your life wealthy. Number 4, never be the smartest person in the room. Never be the smartest person in the room. Always take the time to look around and figure out who is around you and what you can learn from them. This is something that I have learned a lot more as I've gotten older, right? You look around you and you think to yourself, like, man, I can learn so much from these people. There's so many different experiences that all of these people have that I can pull from. That takes listening, right? And I want to stress, the words that are thrown around a lot that are pretty popular these days is active listening. And in defining active listening is, when you're sitting at a table of people and you never want to be the smartest person in the room, you never want to be the one that's always talking, and you also want to be surrounding yourself with as many smart people as you possibly can so that you can pull that information from them. But active listening means this. It means genuinely listening, not listening to respond, right? Genuinely listening with interest so that you can actually understand where this person's coming from, and not necessarily always feeling the need to immediately respond to somebody, but genuinely trying to understand what it is that they're saying. Sometimes it is what is unsaid that is the gold that you're trying to find in a conversation. And when you're not listening, when you're listening to respond and not listening to genuinely understand, you will miss a lot of things. One of the greatest lines that I've heard, Ed Mylett said this in an Arete coaching call that we had. He said that the real gold in things that happen, in the things that you learn, it is caught, not taught. So I want you guys to think about that when you're in conversations, when you're sitting at a table of people and you're trying to learn. Sometimes it's the things that are unsaid. Sometimes it's the things that you catch. Not that necessarily somebody is actively trying to teach you, but the things that are unsaid, or the things that you catch that somebody is not necessarily focused on. But you can only do that if you're actively listening. So, make sure that you're doing more listening than talking as often as you can. That's how you learn, right? You don't learn by talking yourself. You learn by listening and digesting and thinking about those things that people are saying. And to Don's point in the comments here, best piece of advice he was ever given, never to be the smartest person in the room. One of the things that I constantly challenge myself with now is to try to get around those people that are going to help me grow, right? To try and get around those people who are way smarter than me in some other area of life or many areas of life. I try to get around those people as often as possible. And when I'm there, you will see me listening quite a bit, right? And maybe talking less than what I do in other situations. But trying to be around those people is the greatest thing that can level up your life, and the greatest thing that will keep you full, feeling like you're learning all the time. And that leads to incredible success and wealth down the road. All right. So we got wake up early, love your spouse with everything you got, and love your family. Be a family man or a family woman, and never be the smartest person in the room. And last but not least, and this is the way that I start every single day of mine, I start with gratitude, right? I start with gratitude, and I literally, man, I get up, I put my feet on the floor in my bedroom, I put my head in my hands, and I literally just spend a couple of minutes thinking about all the things that I have in my life to be grateful for. And that feeling of gratitude, man, is so powerful. It's hard to explain. If you've never done it before, I would encourage you to try it. Just spend that first couple of minutes that you wake up, when you have immense peace in your life. When you first wake up, there's a lot of peace to that feeling. And, you just put your head in your hands, man, and spend some quiet time thinking about everything you have to be grateful for. And there were times in my life, man, where things weren't necessarily the greatest, and they weren't as good as they are today. There was rough patches. There's still rough patches. But that feeling, man, when you put your head in your hands and you think about all the things that you have to be grateful for, and it doesn't matter, even on those days when things were not the greatest for me, there was still such a long list of things that I had to be grateful for. Just the fact that you got to open your eyes and live another day and have another shot at life, at doing this again for another day, and to interact with people, and to have your family or your friends or the people that you care about. Just spend every single morning just being grateful. And if you spend the first handful of minutes every single day thinking about that, it just feels like the rest of the day falls into place much, much easier, right? So gratitude is an important piece. So how I spend my morning, man, is gratitude. I spend some time in the Word, so I spend some time on the spiritual side, and then I think about my purpose and my beliefs and my values and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I attach everything that I do to those feelings, to that purpose, to that belief, to those values, to, why God has put me here, to what I have to be grateful for. So, and I've been talking a lot about this recently, but that tie to an emotional trigger for you, as to why you do something, and this whole list is, kind of tied to that stuff, but it is so critically important to flood yourself with that emotion, of gratitude, of accomplishment, of anything that you can do that helps you connect what you're trying to accomplish in your life to these emotions, right? To that emotional trigger, that makes things just connect with you on a different level. That is the deeper meaning that will drive you to a higher level of accomplishment, to a heavier feeling of gratitude in the morning. And it's all interconnected, right? We are all emotional beings. And so that idea of waking up with gratitude, spending some time on the spiritual side of yourself, whatever that is for you, and remembering your purpose, your belief, your values, and how that all ties together. Man, it makes your life so incredibly crystal clear as to why you're doing what you're doing, why you're here, what your purpose is, what it is that you need to accomplish today, and why. There are many times in the day, and I believe that it's part of this gratitude exercise that I do in the morning. There's many times in the day where things don't necessarily go the way that I want them to. And sometimes there's moments where you think to yourself, like, man, what am I going to do here? And almost always I get this trigger of, like, my children or my wife or my parents or my grandparents, something or someone that I want to make proud, or that I want to be a good example for. Sometimes it's my team, right? I think, like, man, there's people watching, and they need me to make the right decision. But those daily habits, everything that we're talking about here, they build a foundation that allows you to take off like a rocket every single day, and that is, it's the greatest feeling in the world when you feel like your life is accelerating, right? Your life is headed in the right direction. And, I say this often, and I don't say it, to boast or to sound in any way the wrong way, but, like, man, I literally feel like unstoppable in my life. And I think that's, part of that is the spiritual side of things. Part of it is what I'm talking to you guys about this morning, just the way that I've kind of figured out these things that work for me, that really unlock those triggers, that get me started, that get me fired up. And I spend a lot of time in a calm state these days, right? Like, where I'm not constantly responding to things, or I don't get super fired up about things that don't go my way. Very methodical, very thought out, very intentional about the way that I do things. And I think that it starts with these 5 daily habits. And there's probably much more that I could share with you guys. A couple of you guys are asking about the book in the comments. It's coming along, and it'll be ready soon. I don't want to give you a date, but it's I'm working on it. That's all I can tell you. But yeah, it will be good, and that's why it's taken a little bit longer. Is I wanted to pour everything that I have into it and make sure that it is exactly what I want to put out there, and what I want to be remembered by. I put a post out yesterday, something that Grant Cardone said on Clubhouse yesterday morning, but it was like, how do I want my kids to think about me, or how do I want my kids to remember me? And so that book is a symbol of that for me. It's like, man, if I put this out there, my kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids could read that book, and I want to make sure that it is exactly the way that I want it to be. And so I want to pour as much time into that as I possibly can, but coming soon is the best that I can tell you. So with that said, the 5 daily habits that will keep you wealthy. Just a reminder: wake up early, love your spouse and love your family with everything you got, and tell them constantly how much they mean to you, and how grateful you are and how appreciative you are for everything that they do. Be a family person, be a family man, family woman, and be there for them, because they are there for you, man. And they're going to remember that when you're out sacrificing and doing the things that it takes to build the life that you want. Number 4, never be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room as soon as you possibly can and get around those people that are going to help lift you up. And again, that could be, there's some people that I've been bringing into my life that they are exceptional in just one particular area that I'm looking to get better at. So choose those people wisely, right? Make sure that those people that are around you are contributing. They could be experts in just one area that's going to lift your life up and get those people around you. So never be the smartest person in the room. And last, but certainly not least, have gratitude every day. Spend some time on the spiritual side of your life every single day, and remind yourself constantly of your purpose, your belief, and your values. And that will help you live a life that is incredibly, incredibly wealthy. And again, all of these things, they are not attached necessarily to financial gain. Some of them you could say are, I guess, never being the smartest person in the room. If you're learning those things, eventually that turns into knowledge, which turns into success. But none of them are attached to money necessarily, but they all put you in a place to attract success and to be the best version of yourself and to show up every day as the most authentic and real version of you. And that, friends, is what you're put here to do, right? It's what God intended you to be, the best version of yourself. And so I spend every single day of my life in pursuit of that, right? In pursuit of just trying to get a little bit better every day. And, none of us are perfect. I am far from it. Just ask my wife. She can tell you lots of stories of things that I don't do right. But we're in pursuit of that, right? We're in pursuit of finding those things that we do wrong, that we wish we would have done better, and trying to do the best we can every day to correct those things so that the next time we're a little bit better person. We make a little bit better decision. We just get a little bit better every single day, every single year, right? And those days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. And man, it's just an incredible thing. But I believe in these 5 daily things that really ground me and get me pointed in the right direction every day. And so I wanted to share that list with you guys, and I hope it was helpful to you. If it was helpful, please share this out, guys. Please share it to your page. If you listen on podcast, please share it to your friends. I do this show every single morning, and I do it to pour into others. And I would just ask you in return that if you got something out of this episode, share it with somebody. Just send it to somebody that you think might benefit from it. And if you listen to another episode and that episode was good, share it to somebody else. The way that we impact the world in the best way possible is to share, is to lift others up, to pay it forward, right? And to be that person for other people that's there for them, that thinks of them and tries to send them something that would benefit them. And I hope that someday this show can be part of that list for you that you send to people that hopefully, this list may make an impact on somebody. Maybe there's somebody in your mind you're thinking of right now. And if there is, just click that button and share it to them. You never know, man, what kind of impact something like this might make on somebody's life. There have been plenty of these types of videos that have made enormous impacts on my life. I've gotten to share that experience with the person that was on that video many times. And man, is it cool to look back and say, 8 years ago, I found this video from this person and it changed my life. And so be that person. I send these things, I send other people's videos and stuff like that to lots of people because I want people to have the best life possible. So if you would do that for me, I would appreciate it. And as always, I will be back at you again tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time, right here with all of you guys on Morning Perspective. I appreciate you guys and love you guys. See you tomorrow morning.